headphones, is it? Yeah, maybe this is.
Headphones, is it?
Oh.
Yeah, maybe this is. Headphones, is it?
Oh. Be careful. Okay, so now you guys can hear us. Close this one, Mike. Now go to the settings of audio, general settings on. Yeah, you need to lower that volume a bit. Yeah, put it. No, the desktop one. Put it on 50, for example. Yeah, I believe that's a right sound. Okay, people, do you hear us in a right volume? Yeah. Okay. Close this thing and go to Windows sound settings once again to advanced, so we get this cool music. Go back to advanced and go to groove music and select the output that we just selected. Is it? Yeah, and you can now turn a bit the music 50. Try. No, this one no. Inside the program in groove music. More 50. Oops. It's too loud. 25. It's fine. I think, or 30. Okay, so finally, yeah, you can go back to the normal screen and stop sharing on Discord. And inside Discord, get this thing out. Sorry, people. You need to fix the left camera now. Connor, can you speak?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's fine. We can hear you now.
Brilliant. Nearly there, gang. Sorry for this.
So it's fixing the left camera once again and the right camera. Yeah, that should be it. I mean, it's really straightforward now.
Looks like, David, your camera's frozen again, so we might have to do that camera.
He's fixing it. I mean, you need to make sure you're on the staff voice room chat.
Oh, it looks good. It looks like we're both moving. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, David, I can't hear you either, dude. I wonder if they can hear you on the stream.
Yeah, now.
There
I
you
just
go.
I touched the mic and I muted myself. I didn't know.
Okay, we're up and running. Guys, thank you so much for bearing with us. We promise you that it will be worth it tonight. So we're cooking on gas now. Great work, everyone. Welcome back. We were only with you yesterday, which is just too long to be away from the Pangea community in my eyes. As of now, we are 18 hours away from our Kickstarter campaign, our first Kickstarter campaign completing, and our current stats lie at 154 backers. We're at 108% funded, and that's £9,760. So thank you so much to everybody that has liked, shared our work and pledged to the campaign. It means an awful lot. There's been an incredible amount of work being put into this project so far, and that pot of money is going to help us to get our first vertical slice. Our vertical slice, which will be our first slice of playable content. which we're incredibly excited about. Now, obviously, in 18 hours' time, there are some very particular and special pledge awards that will disappear with this first campaign. That includes some creature skins, it includes a special saddle aesthetic, it includes some merch like stickers and t-shirts, some special artwork. Now, obviously, these sorts of things will be up for grabs in the future, but these particular editions, these particular specific works and looks and aesthetics will be for this campaign only. So you have 18 hours to make sure that you become an original backer, a legacy backer as we call it, to Pangea, to prove to everybody in the future that you were here at the very start, and you can take away some of those very exclusive awards as you do so. So thanks for everyone that has done so far. We're so proud of the community. It's just been an amazing ride, and literally as I've said that, we have gone even further. We've gone even further. We've got a pledge from Sam Topley, Sam the man, who's a good friend of mine actually. Shout out to Sam Topley. He has become a merchant of Pangea, and Hacienda, our man Hacienda, who I think is in the Pangea chat,
He's back.
He's back. He's become a Pangea traveler just like that. So we're at 109% now, gang. And even though we've gone past our 100% goal, what that means is we can just invest those funds back into the development. So the more funds, the better, the quicker, the easier that we can develop the game for you. We can't wait to get this first bit of playable content, because we just want to share it with you and show you what the game's all about with some of the core mechanics on display. Okay, so that's that out of the way. If we have any more pledges throughout the course of the stream, we will announce them and thank you and congratulate you for joining the Pangea family. But for now, let's introduce who we were looking at today. He is well on his way through his latest bit of concept here. We are joined with, I'm going to say the anglicized pronunciation, and then you can introduce him properly. So we're joined with Miquel Camio. That's as good as I can do. David, could introduce him properly for us.
Miquel Camio.
Love.
It's pretty close. Yeah.
If he was English, we'd be calling him Michael Cameo, but actually he does go by Mike. So we'll refer to him as Mike in the stream. Mike is one of those people that have been working incredibly hard to bring you the first looks of the game, and I know that he's very grateful for your pledges and support so far. Mike is a very talented concept artist. He specializes in creature design, but we've definitely pushed him outside his comfort zone since joining Pangea, and he's done some wonderful work with character as well, and just general sort of world building, and he's a really top concept artist, and we're really pleased to have him on the team. What you're seeing at the minute, so I'm going to do my best to describe it and then we can discuss it in more detail. What you're seeing at the minute is the very early stages of something that will look quite similar to the JPEG that's above what Mike is working on at the minute. So Mike is responsible for that really gorgeous, you probably would have seen it, that really gorgeous reworking, almost Celtic reworking of the Pangea logo. So the paw print, the footprint there with the human hand in the center of it. Mike reimagined our logo in this sort of Tricycle Celtic inspired version of it, and now Mike's going through and making similar versions inspired by similar things for each sort of symbol for each creature on our roster. So these will appear in game, they'll appear on in-game merchandise. They could appear on all kinds of things aesthetically, but also they're going to be really important to the game UI. They're going to be important to menus and inventory. What we're hoping to do, what our plan is, we're not entirely sure yet how far we can push this. But what we're hoping to do is, depending on what class you choose, depending on what ancestry you choose at the beginning of the game, will determine the look of your game UI and the aesthetics of the places that you journey through in your native territory. So obviously the Celtic culture is a huge inspiration on our first playable ancestry, which are the Epidermites. And so Mike has used that, has taken that inspiration, and he's using some of Alvaro's early drawings there as well to take inspiration and create these really interesting, really intricate, gorgeous designs for these creature symbols. And I believe right now he's working on the Trudon, or the Mara as the Epidermites call it. So really excited to see how this takes form. Alvaro is watching our stream. he's taken a night off. He's sitting back. He's just joined. He's not on the stylist tonight. If you've just joined us, you'll see the works of Miquel Camio. He is creating these really gorgeous creature symbols. So David, talk to us a little bit more about how these creature symbols could be incorporated into the aesthetic of the game.
First, I'm gonna add something.
Yes,
that
please.
we just we were talking, Alvaro, Miquel, and I this morning, and we said in the end, when we launch the game, we're gonna have us a tattoo on these patterns.
Okay.
Yeah, because
okay.
Take a look at that trike once again, if you can. Yeah, show us the trike. I mean, that's really gorgeous, right?
This is a blood pack that I feel I haven't been invited to, but I'm going to invite myself, and I might say
all team.
I haven't got any tattoos. David, have you? I know Alvaro does.
Yeah, I do have. I don't know if I can push this up. No.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah, I mean.
Gorgeous.
Yeah,
nice.
That's fun.
I know Alvaro's got a really big, intricate thing on his chest, right?
I didn't know.
I think so. Did I do that? I'm sure he has. I'm sure I saw it.
He's gonna have to show us.
It's a Spanish blood. Well, then in that case, Melanie, you're not invited either because you're French. Alvaro has confirmed.
We can extend that pact, you know. Good. So these patterns and these drawings, they are gonna be seen all throughout the different civilizations in decorations for example, chest, tailoring, I don't know, even columns or things that are, you know, for shrines or things that are ceremonial.
Yeah, etching and sort of involved in different textures.
Yeah. And they will also be featured in in different parts of the UI, for example. So when you're playing a civilization, you will feel part of it because all the UI is gonna be personalized in that civilization, right? Also, you will have these patterns showing up on different like dolmens. Well, depends on the civilization, but dolmens or monoliths that express I don't know, for example, nesting ground. They tell you here, hey, here's a nesting ground for the trikes, for example, or something that is special for trikes, and you face this big rock with this engravement. Not just that, because they are thought also to be part of the, let's say it's kind of a codex, okay, where you have all these specimens, all these different species of creatures in Pangaea, where you can consult where they live, how they live, different descriptions on them. and you will see also these different drawings of them depending on the civilization.
Awesome. Yeah. So all of these really intricate designs go into the general aesthetic of the game, and goes into building an even fuller and richer aesthetic for this game world that we're creating. And it's crazy, the intricacy and the detail that goes into world building. What it's like to be as an environment artist. There, you have to really think of even the granular details to make that game world, feel as realistic and as immersive as it possibly can be. And the stuff that what Mike's working on here is going to do just that.
Yeah, something that let's say young developers miss when they are making their game is that they lack this storytelling. They just place props all over the scene, and each of them has to have a meaning, right? And the meaning is not just the position, the location that you place this prop, but also the texture tells a lot, the lighting tells a lot. So with these different creature drawings, we're telling part of the story of these elements, right?
I guess with anything that's world building,
Yeah.
anything that feels cinematic as well, you don't just want to place things for, aesthetic's sake. You want to be able to tell the life of that object that you're dealing with, and tell a story through that object, where it's been, who put it there, who created it, because all of these things can lead to strands of narrative that the player might ultimately go on to discover. And it creates a far more rich and immersive world.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so much behind the single prop. That's most people think that, for example, the big games like I don't know, Division, for example,
Mm.
even a small prop on that game can take up to a week sometimes of making it because they have to put so much into it, not just expressing how old it is. If it's been used a lot or not, if there's some background story on it, so there's a lot of time invested on each prop on a game.
For sure, for sure. But when you're dealing with a game of this size, David, an MMORPG, where eventually it will have this huge sprawling gamescape that you can discover every corner of. As an environment artist, how do you prioritize? How do you know what to prioritize and what to sort of sacrifice? Because obviously optimization
Um,
is a huge deal.
yeah, we need to sacrifice a lot on the smaller props. I mean, um, you when you're an artist and you're making a prop, there's so much that you can put into it because it feels like, let's say, it's like a child,
Mm.
um, you want it to be so beautiful and to succeed in this world of Pangea,
Yeah.
but then you need to understand that this prop maybe is not that seenable. It's too small for the player to notice all these details, so
Mm.
sometimes you need to sacrifice that well, the art that you put and the amount of time that you put onto that specific prop. And also because this game is huge and we need to reduce the load on the player side, we need also to optimize a lot of these aspects.
Absolutely. Have you got any examples of games that you think did it perfectly, sort of, prioritize and sacrifice the right things so that everything's there, but they weren't going over what was capable within the scope of the game?
Well, you can find examples on many of the AAA games right now, because
Mm.
if you head for to pages like ArtStation, where you see these amazing, beautiful shots of, let's say, I don't know, a toolbox, okay, and you see it made with so much detail, but then in the game, when you see it live, playing it, you see that there's been a lack of, well, a loss of detail, right? compared to the one that you see on ArtStation. So sometimes you don't notice it inside the game, but you can notice it definitely when you take a look at how it was made. Okay, and obviously the artist wants to brag a bit on the work that he made of this sport, and you will notice that on ArtStation definitely. There's a lot of games also that are optimizing, and you don't see that on the first stage. You need to really dig onto the game and take a look on different angles, and then you will notice that something that seemed rounded, it's not that rounded. I mean, it's a bit squared. You can see the polygons on it. You just need to be real careful. That's something the artists do a lot. I mean, we play, but while we're playing, we might get stuck into watching a single wall. You get stuck watching that and see if there's something that you would have changed or something that wasn't optimized. That's something that it's kind of a madness thing that we do. That's it.
It's hard when you know when you know something, how something works behind the scenes, because you're not necessarily capturing the same magic as you would have when you were a kid and you weren't aware of how things were made. But I guess a good game is so immersive that you don't you don't care about those things. You're stuck into the game. We've got a couple of questions to tackle, but first let's just take a little look at what Mike's doing. It's looking awesome so far. The symmetry really captures something quite mesmerizing and really satisfying as well. So it's really nice to see. What surprised me when we were talking about the Trudon and we were looking at Alvaro's designs for the Trudon, or as I said, the Mara, the Epidermite's pet name for it, is how different the sort of vintage approach to the Trudon was, how different the paleo community thought the Trudon looked compared to more contemporary versions of it. Obviously, we've come to accept in contemporary times that far more prehistoric creatures would have had sort of a plumage of proto feathers. It wasn't the sort of slick and scaly slimline versions that we might have been privy to during like early Jurassic Park artwork, etc. Has there been any thoughts on how the Trudon has changed so much over the years?
Well, that's a question I cannot really answer. I mean, I'm not a paleo artist, but I believe it also it has a lot on to do with the remains that we are encountering every year, and new remains on each creature, and what's exactly left of them, like a piece of skin. It makes a lot of change on a creature's design. Because recently I think Alvaro shared with us a new discovery of a dinosaur with a piece of skin on it, and it was quite revealing because until then they didn't know how the skin looked like for that dinosaur.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is. It's amazing, and hats off to the paleo community. With dealing with such speculative things and getting more and more accurate results. So we've got a couple of questions. As I said, please do type questions and thoughts in the stream chat as they come. We love to hear your thoughts and get your questions and things. Also, if you're in the Discord, there's a specialist VIP streaming chat. If you're in the Discord and you're a legacy backer, you can have access to the VIP streaming chat. So we've got a couple of questions there. So Hound Lullaby, our good friend Hound Lullaby, they asked, will there be a chance for one of the tiers to get a copy of the game to share with a friend? Now, good question, definitely a good question. I think the thing to remember when it comes to the game copies and the early access stuff right now is, with your pledge, you're not buying the game, right? You are investing, shall we say, and supporting the development of the entire project. So this isn't a game that's going to come out in its entirety anytime soon. Like, let's be frank, it's a hugely ambitious project. We want to get it out as quickly as we can, because not only do we want to satisfy our responsibility to you guys that have pledged, but we also just want to play the game, and we want to play the game with you guys, and we want to see it in reality and bring it to life in all its beauty. But a AAA MMORPG is a really long road, and that's what we've all signed up for. But the satisfaction and the joy and the privilege of working on a game like this is huge in the long run. So yeah, it's good to remember that right now we're so grateful for your support and your pledges, and that's all going towards the game development. That isn't going towards necessarily getting copies of the game. If and when we get to the point that we are releasing the game, then you'll be rewarded for your support early on, and that's when you'll have access to it. But there will be 101 opportunities to purchase a physical and digital copy of the game in the future once it's released. For now, it's about you getting rewarded for your early support of the game development. So we wouldn't introduce a sort of friends copy as has been asked in a crowdfunding tier as a perk. But there will be ample opportunity in the future to purchase digital and physical copies of the game. I think I answered all that right, David. Is there anything to add to that?
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, as you said, we're funding the initial steps of this game, which is already done, and we're moving forward, and we hope to get to the alpha real soon. But as he said, I mean, an alpha is gonna take a bit. Don't expect it to be January, to say something. But yeah, we definitely are gonna work as hard as we can to provide this alpha, and throughout this process we will be launching different let's say methods of supporting us, and there will be lots of chances, as he said, on getting your hands on a copy, or even new and unique skins, or different additions to the game.
Perfect. Nice. And then we've got another question, which we've kind of touched on in the past, but it's always worth talking about because it's a really exciting future aspect of the game. Silan has asked, will there be swimming / underwater content? So it's a big one. It takes up probably almost eventually, a third of the project's ambition, because if you consider on the ground play, in the air play, and underwater play, or even on the surface play, there is a lot to be discovered eventually in Pangaea. I'll let you take this one, David, but I think right now the top line is we need to focus on what's ahead of us and get the on the ground play right first, right?
I mean, we're gonna have diving mechanics and swimming mechanics, but right now we need to focus on having this vertical slice. And the best way of proving the core mechanics of the game is focusing on one, let's say, specialty, which is gonna be the ground mechanics. But yeah, expect swimming sooner than diving, because diving implies much more on the background, like dealing with the gravity on the engine. And yeah, that's all we can say for now.
Real, yeah. I mean, we want to get to that place as quick as anybody. We've got so many ideas for gameplay on the surface, underwater, and in the air, and obviously by not incorporating those things, we're aware that we're not involving a huge part of prehistory. So we really want to get there as soon as possible. We've got another question from Amphi. Since different classes will be able to perform different activities, will solo play be viable, or would group play be necessary? really good question. I think the top line of that is that Pangea, the original concept for Pangea, was made with collaboration in mind. We want this to be a really collaborative game. That being said, of course, solitary play will be a huge part of it. You know, if that's your gameplay style, we're not going to stifle that. We want you to have a really rich and full experience. So there'll be plenty of opportunity for solitary play, for solo gaming. You won't necessarily have to you know, you won't have to have a clan to get the most out of the game. Um, but you know, you won't experience everything there is to experience without clanning up at some point. Similarly, if you're someone that works best in a clan, and only want to do that, only want to go on raids and raise community creatures and things like that, that gameplay will be rich and immersive, but you won't experience everything the game has to offer unless you venture off on your own at some point. So yeah, I think the thing is, David, we want to cater to everybody, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a trader, for example, grouping up for gathering resources, especially the most difficult ones to get, will be kind of a must, you know. Uh, they do not have to be friends. I mean, you can try to gather up a group with new people that you meet, but also if you like to group up all the time, I mean, mm, crafting things will be for solo play. I mean, you won't be crafting an item together per se. He can be right on your side, right? But the process is made alone. There will be a lot of activities for social people, but also for people who like to enjoy just exploring alone and things like that. I mean, it's up to you how you play. Definitely, you cannot go to a raid, which is endgame alone. There will be a section of the game, the end game, for this kind of bosses where you have to group up.
Of course, it wouldn't be MMORPG without some end game raid activity, right?
Yeah. Hey, we have. Hey.
So
Yeah.
Mike, it looks like Mike has moved on to uh, the profile of the Trudon here, the profile symbol, which is awesome. That front on symbol is looking absolutely stunning. I really love the way he just sort of fills in certain areas with complete opacity. It really contrasts beautifully with the um, less opaque areas and creates a real gorgeous depth with the symbol. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does here with the profile view as well.
You know, King Cinder, who just joined us, he says he's deaf. I wanted to take this opportunity to mention that accessibility must be a thing in Pangea.
Yes,
Uh, so definitely, all kind of narrative display will be also text input, so people can enjoy this game whether they're deaf or not.
absolutely,
I'm just
absolutely.
telling this to all of you. I mean, this is something we will write down sometime when we finish all the documentation.
Perfect. Um,
Let's see, there's someone writing a new question, perhaps. Yeah, Hound Lullaby is the question.
did you see a question? Oh, Hound Lullaby's typing in the.
Yeah, he's typing, so it's kind of, creating hype man right now. Oh, he stopped. Oh, here goes again. Yeah, does any one of you have a question? Oh, two questions at the same time. Let's deal with one. Uh, should we go first with Shadzirius here in the chat?
Yeah, why not?
Hmm.
So,
Will there be? Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Will there be two forms of grouping similar to other MMO games, say a group, team, and then a clan tribe? Yeah, I mean, for activities, you group up. It doesn't matter if they are from your tribe, if they are friends, or they are random people that you meet up. Um, and then there's, let's say, the aggregation of a clan and a tribe, which has a different, let's say, focus on activities. You will have a tribe house where you can deal with, the apex creatures, take care of them. You will have also perks because you belong to that tribe, and grouping up is more for the actual activity, hunting or tracking something, going for eggs, etc. So it's a different way of seeing people grouping up. I hope that answered your question, Shadzir. How many players can you have in a temporary group? That's something we still haven't thought of, but the usual on an MMO is up to 4 for standard activities, right? 8 for raids, or even 12 on some games. So expect something like that.
So Hound Lullaby's asked as well, with different civilizations in mind, is the plan there to have them all not only look different but specialize in a job or strength? Yeah, good question. So the the ancestries of Pangea are the source material for each ancestry is based on an inspiration from our natural world, from our history, from civilizations through our own time. Um, but what we have to bear in mind is this is a fantasy universe. It's not necessarily directly civilizations that have come straight from Earth into Pangea. They would have a lot of other environmental and cultural uh, things that, that come into play and change the way they are, the way they look, the way they act, their beliefs. So the plan is for our artists and our writers to work these inspirations in a way that feels like something that's very specific and unique to Pangea, and moves far enough away from our old world civilizations so that it's not kind of making some um, commentary on civilizations that are historic or are potentially still around in some form. It's something that feels very specific and unique to Pangea. That being said, each ancestry will feel very different to one another. There will be ancestries that do a similar thing, but they will have their own specialties, their own things they're good at, their own things they're bad at. Everything from combat skills and talents all the way through to social skills and talents. They'll be really abundant with different pros and cons, and you can kind of decide which ancestry you want to go for depending on how you want how it reflects your gameplay style. Very similar to any kind of RPG, you kind of, I think people gravitate towards the type of ancestry that they think it best reflects them and their gameplay and their character, their in-game personality. You know, and we want to give people as much choice as possible when it comes to that. That's why we've already written 14 playable civilizations or ancestries. Obviously, they're not all going to be released at once. We're going to start with the Epidemites, and then see how it goes. But yeah, we just want to give people as much choice as possible when it comes to those things.
Not just the difference in specialties, let's say, or classes, but also the aesthetics are going to be quite different from one civilization to another. So maybe you face a civilization that is quite similar to another in terms of gameplay, but you like most of the aesthetics of the second civilization. I mean, you will be able to choose any of the civilizations, and it's up to you if you choose it because you like more the gameplay style or the aesthetics or different things like that. The background lore also.
Yeah, absolutely. All of those things come into play. Amphi's asked, will the world feature any modern animals that different groups of humans might have interacted with before meeting the dinos or the prehistoric creatures? That is a very good question. One of which has
Did you, let me see. Did you read that one on the
that's on our
channel?
chat. Yeah,
Would there be progressions? Yeah, I mean, the idea is that you begin with the smaller creatures because, um, as in any RPG, your character is gonna be progressing. Let's say it's the journey. You know, it's a journey from, let's say, a traveler or a townspeople to a hero, right? So it makes sense that you also progress in the creatures that you have. You begin with your friends, let's say small friends like the Anus from the other day, or you can end up with a creature like a T-Rex once you're like the hero of Pangea and you have a full tribe with you, etc. So yeah, there's some progression limiting the creatures that you're gonna have. Um, and it comes natural because you're progressing also from easier areas of creatures, enemy creatures around you, to more tough ones.
brilliant. Yeah, that's definitely a big part of the gameplay is you know, creature companions and how you progress with them and how much they aid you in your gameplay.
Mm.
I think David, you answered very thoroughly Shadzerios's question there. I did pick up on a question from Amphi, which was in the
Mm.
Discord. But that's okay. We can go back to that now. Will the world feature any modern animals the different groups of humans might have interacted with before meeting the dinos slash prehistoric creatures? Um, so I
Mm.
think that the aim it's a really good question because there are definitely things, you know, biological matter, non-biological matter that travelled with the humans to Pangea, and there are definitely different creature types that aren't just your typical, you know, dinosaur prehistoric creature. Um, there'll be sort of you know, mammals and livestock and things like that. But they will probably at this stage, I think I'm right in saying, David, we're planning for them all to have a kind of prehistoric aesthetic. We're not necessarily playing with anything that's too contemporary
Yeah, I
right now.
mean, I think we have one in mind only, one that is a mammal. Alberto may have to correct me, but basically they are gonna be all Jurassic, Cretacic, etc. For the demo.
Mhm.
Um, the civilizations will encounter not just creatures from their period or prehistoric period or even post-historic period, but also from different regions of the world. I mean, in this region of Opidam, we have creatures implemented for the demo or on the list to be implemented that are from Asia. I mean, they will see creatures from different regions and different space and time. Let's say that globally, because of the background lore of Pangea.
Of course. Hopefully
Nice.
that
Any questions?
answered your question there, Amphi. Really good questions coming through tonight, guys. Please keep
Yeah, I feel like today is much more onto background of the game, right?
Yeah, which is good. We like talking about that, and it gets us thinking about it
Yeah.
as well in ways that we might not have done so already. So it's awesome. I wonder where
Mhm.
Mike's up to. He seems to be doing some interesting doodling right now. Ah, a mask. Like it. Okay, so similar to some of the Mara masks, similar to some of the stuff that looks like it's been dug up from ancient civilizations in his inspirations. Um, he's now
We
having
could
a
actually make this a prop.
yeah, for sure. It would be awesome and terrifying as well. Maybe there's a rogue group
Mhm.
of epidemite, you know, outlaws or outcasts that worship the Mara in a bit of a insidious,
Mhm.
evil way, and they wear these masks and come out in the dark
Yeah.
like nightmare demons. Scary shit, man.
Okay. Any questions, people? You have?
Also, one of the big things we want to incorporate is, you know, festivals and events that these civilizations would be celebrating. So things like masks, decorations, you know, certain aesthetic props that are going to build that part of the everyday life of our civilizations, our ancestries, is going to be really valuable. Um,
I think, Mike, I think you're gonna have to repeat the music because, unless I'm mistaken, I think it just run out. Yeah, we have two questions coming up, I think. Don't worry, Mike, if it's not working. Yeah. Whoops. No, no, no. Don't minimize the Discord. Yeah. There we go.
let's see if we get a couple
Whoops.
of questions
Yeah.
come in, and then
Yeah, he's still writing in.
maybe we'll call it there for this stream because we've oh, Mike's now
Ooh.
switched to the Ramphie. This is
Yeah.
exciting. Look at that Ramphie model with its mouth open, man. It just looks fucking awesome. Winged creature from hell, hellbird.
Hey, we got a question.
Awesome. So Chris Dragon over on the Discord says armor and gear for your player character are pretty standard in MMOs, but will similar gear armor be something to look forward to for our creature companions? Oh yeah. Well, the first thing I'd say, Chris Dragon, is I think you'll be surprised when you come to see Pangean armor and gear because the armor and gear are going to be very much inspired by the original source material too. So each ancestry will have a very particular set of armor and gear and weapons as well. And there will be certain things that you willed and you equipped naturally because they're from your native region, and there will be things that you know, you'll have to get to a certain level and a pretty high level, and you'll have to specialize in certain particular professions and talents in order to wield and equip armor and gear from other regions, because um, it wouldn't work with your native character. Perhaps the stats will be lower for you. Perhaps you don't know how to craft them and smith them until you've learned from the masters of that region, and you'll have to get really pally and buddy up with people from other regions, and learn their ways in order to equip and to craft those sorts of things. So that's a whole other side of the game. That's a whole other avenue of gameplay. You know, you can just get really high stats on your native gear and learn how to craft that stuff, and you can also branch out and learn the ways of other regions. So yeah, it's a big part of the gameplay. But to answer your question, David, absolutely, our creatures need to be equipped too to go into combat, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're planning on having different levels of saddles. Some of them, to fit more inventory, and some of them just to boost your creature stats. So, depending on the situation, you might want to change the gear on your creature.
Absolutely, yeah, because certain gear is going to give you certain, progress in particular contexts.
Yep. New
Cool.
question.
Yeah, I think we've probably got time for one more question, and it looks like it's come from Hound Lullaby. Um, So, with events being planned for civilizations, will those differ on which civilization happening real time, unique and style based on their type? Or will there be, oh, sorry, yeah, differ. Or will there be one set up after another as a general server event, and will those events hold special armor awards, items, etc.? Real. So I think what Alan Lullaby is talking about here is like almost seasonal events that might contain downloadable content that we've come to know and love in a lot of games. Season to season, releasing sort of expansions of the world, releasing, as Hound Lullaby said, special armor and wars and items. There will definitely be those seasonally, and we're also just talking about festivals and events that enrich the narrative of each region, and might happen in conjunction with our own festivities, just as inspiration. Is that right, David?
Yeah, I mean, for example, you can expect events on our Christmas, right?
Hmm.
They won't be called Christmas, but we can make up a new lore on Pangea.
Hmm.
We can get also the usual Halloween events that you might see on any MMO, but they will be converted to Pangea's lore. Some of these events might be different depending on the civilization. But for example, let's say that Opitamites Halloween, it's called X, and this event will be transferred to all the regions. So all players on each region will celebrate that event with that name, because they are civilizations that trade so much that there's so much cultural exchange that they are celebrating also the Epitomites Halloween event. So we can launch this event for everyone, every player, and they can get these special items of this event regardless of the civilization. But some other events might be civilization locked.
Yeah, awesome. Great. Well, we took a real deep dive there into some of the background and some of the lore, and gameplay that can be expected in the game, which has been awesome. I hope you guys have enjoyed those answers, and I hope it gets you even more excited for the game. Mike has been doing a really wonderful job. He started over on with the Trudon symbol, inspired by sort of Celtic Nordic. There it is. Maybe we can get a really good look at that now, Mike. See the finished answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's looking great, man.
You
Can't
know,
wait.
when I'm looking at this, I think of the Anubis dog, like
Yeah, yeah. The sort of
so. So there's also this appealing to not also the nightmare demon, that Alvaro has thought, but also this appealing to the Egyptians' death lore, right? So there's a connection in between, right?
Yeah, there's a real crossover. Yeah, Mike, it looks awesome. We can't wait to see the other finished articles. Let's just get another little look at the ramp fee just before we go, just to see what we can be expecting once you're finished.
Mm-hmm.
Smiley faces all round. Yeah, so it wouldn't be a ramp fee symbol without those absolutely terrifying beak teeth. So this is what you got to look forward to, guys. We're going to let Mike crack on and finish some of these symbols up so that we can release them to you all. Melanie says she can't wait to put those on props. We can't wait to see them on props and see them in engine. And as soon as we do, we will share it with all you guys. So yeah, nice work tonight, Mike. Thank you for sharing your stuff with us. And yeah, and they will manifest as tattoos as well, in game and in the real world, according to David. So
Yeah,
thanks
indeed.
for joining us again, guys. It's been a pleasure. Keep an eye out on all the updates. Obviously, we're nearing the festive period now, so we as a team need to discuss some sort of healthy downtime, probably. But we'll try and give you updates as and when they come through.
Sneak
We
peeks.
Yeah. We are 17 hours away from the completion of our first crowdfunding campaign. That's just 17 hours, which a lot of us, especially Europe side, are probably going to be asleep for most of. But that's Friday. That's tomorrow at midday GMT. That's going to be complete. We're currently on 155 backers, 109% funded. That's 9,830. Our original goal was 9,000. We've gone over that. You guys are amazing for getting us there. But the more funds that we get in this initial campaign, the quicker we can get that vertical slice. So please keep liking and sharing our work. Please keep pledging what you can. I know it's close to Christmas. It can't be any closer. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. But every little bit helps. It really does. And if you can only pledge £1, that goes to real lengths as well, because it adds to our backer our backer list. It adds to our final backer numbers, and it shows publishers that there's an appetite for the game. So please pledge to our work, and we'll get you that vertical slice as quickly as we can in the new year. David, anything else to say?
No, thank you for all your support this whole month. And yeah, I hope we can get you this vertical slice real soon.
Real soon. Have a wonderful festive period, everyone. Please stay healthy, stay safe. Lots of love to everybody, and thanks for all the support. Bye bye for now.
Bye bye.